Good morning, good evening, good day to everybody joining us for our presentation. We are so glad you're here. My name is Chrissy Metz, and I manage the marketing for JobSite Solutions, and I will be moderating the session today. We have a couple introduction and safety slides I will go through here shortly. We are a part of the broader CAT Solutions and Services group at Caterpillar, and once again, this is our JobSite Solutions presentation. Couple safety elements. We recognize this is a virtual webinar, but please know the following at your location, your emergency phone numbers, desk room location, take cover and evacuation, any room hazards. Be aware of your surroundings. Hopefully you're not driving, but if you are, use a hands-free device. And if calling in from a public place, please use your earbuds, and absolutely in your location, please know who will call emergency numbers or perform CPR, use the AED or fire extinguishers. Couple guidelines for those of you joining us today. Please stay engaged. There is a Q&A feature where you can ask questions throughout the presentation. We will be typing back answers during the actual portion of the slides, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end. Stay in touch. We will have a recording available, so please keep an eye out for that, available in the cat.com/mining space. And once again, we will have a survey and a question and answer portion at the end where you can ask for follow-up, and we will make sure to get back in touch with you. As always with Caterpillar, be safe, be present, and we win the right way. We're very proud of our values, our ethics, and our compliance. So without further ado, this is the JobSite Solutions presentation through the cat.com mining webinars. We're glad you're here. Solutions Beyond the Iron, Fleet Management with JSS. Today, we have Chris Barch and Jeff Hoyes presenting to you. They are both commercial managers with our team. You can take a look at their bios in the top left. And when they both do their start of the presentation, they'll give you a little bit of their background. I will be back later with you all to help moderate the Q&A. Otherwise, thanks, Jeff and Chris. And Jeff, you can take it away.
Thank you, Chrissy. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Jeff Hoyes. I'm a commercial manager within JSS. I've been with Caterpillar now for 21 years, with the majority of that time being in the mining industry. And with the last year, I've been in the JobSite Solutions group. So let's get started here. This slide here is just a brief agenda of what we'll go through today. We'll start with the idea of what gets measured gets managed. Then we'll shift into talking about the power of partnership and how JobSite Solutions and your local CAT dealer can deliver significant value to you as a customer. Next, we'll talk about how JSS can help. And then lastly, we'll transition into the value of a fleet manager, and that's when Chris will step in and take over that portion of the presentation. So let's get started here with a quick video about this idea of what gets measured gets managed.
No matter what material you're moving, your quickest path to lower costs and bigger profits is tracking the numbers. Fleet optimization is a complex exercise, but every gain in efficiency compounds on the bottom line. How much better could your numbers be? Efficient material handling will have the biggest influence on profits, so it's a good place to start looking for optimization opportunities. And even small changes can have a big impact. For example, only a 5% increase in rolling resistance can result in as much as a 35% increase in production costs. So a small adjustment in the haul road could significantly reduce hauling costs. But load and haul is just the tip of the optimization iceberg. Managing life cycle costs of your equipment can also make a big difference. It's not unusual for companies to retain and operate equipment past its prime economic life, which can result in high maintenance costs, increased fuel costs, and reduced availability. Optimizing replacement cycles not only lowers fleet costs, but also boosts production. Identifying just the right time for resale or rebuild results in better planning and cash flow management. Maintenance should be another optimization target. Finding new ways to make data actionable and improving preventive maintenance can reduce downtime, lower repair costs, and increase utilization. Plus, excellent maintenance adds to resale value. There's no doubt that what gets measured gets managed. Let's take a look at a global cement company struggling with a poorly matched fleet, reduced productivity, and rising costs. JobSite Solutions and their CAT dealer helped them replace their loader and shovel with 2 larger wheel loaders better matched to the site's trucks. The trucks were rebuilt along with a motor grader and a water truck. As part of their fleet optimization and maintenance contract, a fleet manager tracked the numbers and turned them into actions. He helped train operators, reduce idle time, and improve production. Here are some of their results. More than 100,000 gallons in fuel savings, 97% mechanical availability, 11% increase in tons per hour, 19% decrease in operating cost per ton, 49% decrease in operator events. How can you achieve results like these? Explore a fleet management partnership with Caterpillar JobSite Solutions and your CAT dealer. Together, they can make the complexities of fleet optimization simpler. Get more information from your CAT dealer or visit cat.com/JobSite Solutions to learn more.
So as you saw in that video, it's making these small little changes that can drive significant results. And that's what I'd like to focus on within JobSite Solutions. We'd like to look at the areas of making costs manageable, increasing uptime, or improving productivity. And here's on this slide, there's numerous additional examples of the type of results you can achieve by working with JobSite Solutions. Over the next few slides here, I'm going to walk through a bit of the process of how we go about doing that. And again, more actual case study examples of customers that have seen significant improvements in their operations and efficiency by using JobSite Solutions and partnering with a local CAT dealer. So the process starts with trying to identify where does it hurt? What is the source of the pain, or if you will, what is the root cause? And then we can dive into that in a lot more detail using data and facts and the process we go through to identify what's the root cause, and then what's the optimal solution we can deliver to try to address that pain point and take that pain away. So we do that by going through this process of asking numerous questions over and over again to try to understand what the root cause is. So someone might say, I need more equipment. Well, that can mean a lot of things, right? They may think they need bigger equipment, or the equipment they have isn't getting the job done, or maybe the machines are down too often. Well, really need to start diving into that and asking why questions over and over again to try to get to what is the real root cause. So is the site actually over-equipped and you have issues with inefficient production, or are the cycle times not what they need to be, or are there bottlenecks in the production process that could be addressed that might make the fleet overall more productive? What is the condition of the equipment, and how well are the operators trained? And again, just continue to ask all these why questions to get to what is the true root cause, so we can identify a solution to put in place to address those pain points and improve your overall production and efficiency. So next, I'm going to walk you through about 5 examples here of specific case studies where we went in with this JobSite Solutions partnership approach and make significant improvements in customers' operations. So the first one here is in the arena of maintenance and repair. So this is a coal mine in the U.S. where they were running and having challenges meeting their mechanical availability goals and meeting their maintenance and repair budget. So JobSite Solutions and the dealer was called in as a partner to work with that customer to identify what is the root cause, and then to again implement a change to their business that really made improvements. And through this process, it was the maintenance and repair strategy at this particular site was not as robust as it needed to be, and it had some gaps that needed to be addressed. So we worked with that local dealer and the customer to identify changes and put in the robust M&R strategy to address these challenges and make them more consistent in their processes. What that resulted in is within 2 months, we were able to increase their mechanical availability from 72% to 87%. And that actually brought that customer back on budget for the maintenance repair within 90 days. And you can see the company CFO even quoted that they realized their ROI on that effort within 90 days. So, obviously great results at this site, but really the key here is it wasn't a one-time only effort where we go in and do this project. That that effort with that partnership approach was ongoing, and it helped this customer sustain those gains over time as well. This next example here is more in the area of operational efficiency and production. So this particular site was a crushed stone site, also in the U.S. They were operating a fleet of Cat 990 and a fleet of Komatsu trucks, and they were struggling to meet their production goal per hour. So again, Job Site Solutions and the local Cat dealer went in there and did a site assessment with this customer to try to identify what is the root cause. Why are they not meeting their production goals? And what we did is we used data, facts and data, and we'll keep talking about this idea of data over and over again, to identify the root cause and opportunities for improvement. And then this particular case, that data was using our Cat FPC software, looking at the site's performance and how they're operating today, to find ways to see if we can make them more efficient. And in this particular case, we analyzed their existing fleet as well as two potential new fleets that could help them reach their goals. So in this case, you can see we looked at a fleet of Cat 772 trucks, Cat 773 trucks, and their existing fleet paired with a wheel loader to help see what we could do to help them reach their production goal. So in this particular case, you can see the outcome was actually to reduce the size of the customer's fleet. We're going into the process, they actually thought they needed to increase it. What we identified was a recommendation that said that let's reduce the size of your fleet and help you reach your production goals with this new fleet. And what ultimately happened, you can see here, is we reduced the size of their fleet, made them more efficient, and reduced their costs, all while allowing them to start reaching their production goal at this particular site. So you can imagine what that did to their cost per ton and the profitability of their operation by making this change. Again, beyond that, then when we put this new fleet in, it wasn't just this one effort to go in there. We then stayed there and partnered with them to continue to maintain the operation and sustain those gains over time as well. This next example here is speaking, again, in the area of maintenance and repair, and really focused on trying to be proactive in your maintenance versus reactive. So this here is an example from a U.S. coal mine where we identified that the cost of a brake repair was substantially reduced if we can go in proactively and do that versus reactively. And the way we do that is through the use of condition monitoring. And that's one of the key fundamental technology pieces we use in JSS to help reduce cost and improve uptime. And that condition monitoring allows us to go out there and see when a failure is coming and try to predict it, and then go out and repair it before it becomes a much more costly repair, and also do it on a planned basis versus an unplanned basis. And you can see in this particular case, if we do that, you can potentially have a projected savings of $42,000 on one repair. Imagine doing that across the entire fleet with everything, every aspect of maintaining your equipment, and what kind of benefits that can deliver to a customer. The next example here is in the space of operating the mine in a safe manner. So, of course, safety is key. We all value safety and want everybody to go home safe every day. This particular site was a quarry in Africa where they were having significant events with onboard safety by the operators. And not only were they potentially putting themselves at risk, the operators that is, but also potentially damaging the equipment by improper use. So again, Job Site Solution, the local Cat dealer, went in there to help partner with this customer to identify ways to reduce these events. And what we did, again, by using data and continuous monitoring and making suggestions for improvements and making these small changes, over time, we were able to reduce their operator safety events by 87% within just 6 months. And again, put processes in place and monitoring to ensure that those gains are sustained over time as well. So, again, the key here is using data to drive that value to a customer and ensure the customer is operating as safely and efficiently and productively as possible. The last example we'll go through here is in the realm of production. So this particular site was a U.S. quarry plant feeding a cement plant. And you can see in year one, we went in there to try to partner with them and look at their tons per hour using the fleet of equipment they have. And what we were able to do through use of data, ongoing consulting and implementing ideas, over a 5-year period, you can see we added substantial value by increasing their cost per ton, or their tons per hour, which of course reduces their cost per ton. And not only that, but we did it with less hours per truck as well. So again, they were operating more efficiently, more productively, which results in reduced costs, both on fuel and labor, and just the fleet lasts longer as well because you're putting less hours on that machine, throughout each year. So this slide here is really speaking to kind of the average results that we've demonstrated across all JSS sites, within the first or the multiple years of JSS has been around. So it's everything from high return on investment to increased availability, higher tons per hour, reduced fuel costs, or again, decrease in operator events to operate more safely. Or even maybe a fleet reduction size because making customers more efficient and productive, they can eliminate machines out of their operations. So with all these examples here, we've really kind of started to demonstrate that the job site solutions is maybe a different way to look at the business and to drive results to make customers more successful. So how do we work with JSS and how can we help you as a customer in your operations? So on the next few slides here, I'll walk through how we go about structuring a solution and what that solution may look like. And that's my primary responsibility as a commercial manager. And then we'll shift into the fleet management portion and talk about how that effort continues on beyond putting that initial solution in place. So this here is a quote from a U.S. quarry customer. And it says, "We're able to see the loss in productivity or the loss in opportunity because the equipment wasn't available." That starts to put a dollar number to that. This is how much money it costs for a piece of equipment to be down. Before we were inefficient. Now we're able to react smarter and faster to changes. So again, having that data readily available and being able to interpret that data and turn it into actionable insights allows you to just be smarter and more efficient in how you approach your business. So I've been talking about solutions a lot. This is our definition here for what a solution is. It's products and services tailored to solve a meaningful business problem and deliver a positive customer outcome. So you may not have a hard time connecting what that means, specific to your operation. I guess the way I would reiterate it is what we're basically trying to do is bundle together a very specific targeted solution that has only the elements you want or need that will deliver the outcomes specific to your business. It's not a canned solution that's across the board. It's, again, a customized solution. That's the key here to deliver those type of significant improvements we've shown before. So in terms of that solution, there's really 6 different areas we can focus in that solution. And inside of each of these, there's potentially a wide range of solutions as well that we can pull from. So our goal is to look at these 6 different areas, and I'll elaborate on those a bit more here in a second, to identify what particular pieces of those areas is most effective to help drive improvement at your particular customer operation. So I'll start on the left here with equipment, and that's really just the access to equipment, and making sure you have the right equipment you need for your site, and potentially the financing wrapped around that solution as well. So that equipment can be, again, looking at the fleet you have, and is it the right fleet? Can we install a fleet that's maybe more efficient, or should we look at rebuilding your fleet to increase the mechanical availability and reduce your overall cost? Is a financing solution necessary in that particular area to help you achieve these goals and make those changes? That's kind of the equipment area, and we have a wide range of offerings that are some unique to JSF, some that are not, that we can pull on there to try to implement the right solution for you. The next 2 I'll talk about together are the maintenance and repair area, and this is something you as customers understand very well. What we like to do in this particular area, if necessary, is pull on solutions that leverage best practices in these areas and processes that drive the most efficient maintenance repair and reduce your cost. Again, that condition monitoring, proactive maintenance, that sort of thing, to try to improve your maintenance repair processes. The last 3 here on the right, I'll kind of speak to together. This is the services portion of JSS, where we're involved more in the consulting side of things to help you drive those improvements. So the first is the fleet management area. Chris will elaborate on this a lot more later with examples of how we've done this. But basically, fleet management is helping you identify ways to operate your fleet more efficiently and with less cost. So again, we may be looking at, how do we reduce reduce your cost for maintaining your fleet, increase your uptime? How do you maybe minimize fuel burn or minimize idle time? All these things, again, to control costs and increase uptime. The next area is safety. Of course, that's maybe safety within a given machine, how it's operated, or across the site. Safety is paramount, of course, so we try to look at ways we can improve the safety at a customer's operation and avoid injuries or anything worse than that potentially. And the last area here is in the productivity space. That last case study I gave you kind of demonstrates that, but we're trying to identify ways using data to implement changes in your operation to make you more productive or more efficient. And that could be looking at cycle times, haul routes, fill factors in your buckets, that sort of thing. Anything we can do to try to make a change to just reduce your cost and increase your tons per hour. So if we structure the solution correctly, the way this becomes really powerful and can make those type of significant improvements is through the power of partnership and collaboration with the local CAT dealer, job site solutions, and you as the customer. And we like to focus again on these three areas that we've talked about: making cost manageable, increasing uptime, and improving productivity. And really the key I've reiterated here but multiple times now is using data to be smarter about implementing changes and tracking performance over time to drive those improvements and then sustain those gains as well. So this slide here kind of speaks to, okay, how can we package that solution? How is JSS Job Site Solutions different than maybe you're used to working with Caterpillar or your local dealer? And this, again, we go out as a commercial manager and our team working with a dealer to try to identify what is the right solution for you. Again, it can be one of the elements in those 6 pillars. It can be all the elements. It could be any combination in between. But really what we're trying to do is package that solution then for that fleet management into a single solution that you pay on an hourly fee. So you can see on the right here, that box is kind of key. You're looking at, leveraging the expertise of your local dealer and Caterpillar to manage that fleet for you. And then you have to focus on just, putting operators in your equipment and fuel and so on, and then focus on what you're really good at as a customer. And that is your core competency of operating a mine or a quarry or whatever industry you may be in here. So this hourly fee we've talked about is structured such that, it's a single hourly rate for all these services bundled together, whether it's the equipment, the maintenance repair, the consulting, that sort of thing. And we charge that hourly fee based on actual usage of the equipment. So every hour you use the machine, you pay for it. If you're not using the machine, there is no cost incurred. So it's really that tailored approach that we like to drive to customers because it delivers those results. And it's that consulting that we'll talk about a bit more in the fleet management space that really is where we can drive significant value into your operations. So we've talked about the process, some examples of what we can do here, what a solution may be. Obviously, it takes a lot more involvement and time to dive into what a particular solution may be for you. And I'd encourage you to reach out to your local CAT dealer if you have interest in doing that. But Job Site Solutions here this is a bit of who we are and shows you a bit of our growth path over the last few years. So we've been around for 14 years. We have a very broad base of customers across industries, locations, customers, and countries. We are the market leader in heavy equipment solutions, and we manage a very large fleet of machines across the entire globe, and it's delivering a world-class mechanical availability percentage. You can see that here, that 95% is world-class and something we're very proud of within JSS. And you can imagine with that type of performance, how we can deliver a 95% customer renewal rate within JSS contracts. So again, I've tried to build that credibility here for what JSS is and how we can maybe help you. And then we'll continue to talk about that with additional examples in the fleet management space ahead. So last slide here before I turn it over to Chris is, again, we're Job Site Solutions. We're focused on helping you manage your uptime, manage your cost, improve your productivity. But we also have a couple sister organizations within our CAT Solutions and CAT Solutions and Services organization that we can also pull on as well. So we have Mining Performance Solutions, our sister organization there, and CAT safety services that we can also bring in and package into a solution that can add additional value to this offering and allow us to drive additional improvement in your operations. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Chris now to walk through the value of a fleet manager and provide multiple examples of how we can continue, or additional examples of how we can drive that value for you as a customer. Chris, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Jeff. And welcome again, everybody. I'm Chris Barch. I'm a commercial manager with JobSite Solutions. I've been with the team since late 2016 and have almost 20 years here with CAT. It's a pleasure to be with you today. As Jeff mentioned, our jobs in the commercial manager side are to help structure solutions that can help your organizations achieve the results that you want, those business outcomes that Jeff mentioned. When it comes time to actually execute on those solutions that we've constructed, that's where the fleet manager comes into play. They are the conduit through which all of the partners you can see here on this slide work together in order to deliver results that are better than any one of our organizations could do on their own. And so each of our teams, the customers, our dealerships that support us, and then the enterprise that sits behind the JobSite Solutions team on the CAT side, we all bring our specialties and capabilities to bear to help our teams achieve, essentially what is, 1 + 1 = 4. The sum is greater than what each of us can do, and execute on the value that may be available within your organizations. And so the customers, right, you guys would execute on the specialties that you have within your sites and organizations, your capabilities, and how you manage your operations. Our dealers are our partners in the maintenance and repair space. They bring a lot of capabilities there to support keeping the equipment up and running and in tip-top shape. And then we have the specialties within the analysis space and the technology integration to drive those business outcomes that you're looking for. And the fleet managers are the organizing force that brings all of those parties to bear to achieve those outcomes. They're going to leverage the information coming in through either the individuals in the feedback loops or off of the equipment or perhaps the samples that we're taking in order to drive performance for the entire team. They're also going to be able to leverage the experts that we have back in the CAT organization to help us achieve greater results in the space of costs, uptime, and productivity, all with that goal of business outcomes that you're looking for. In the maintenance and repair space, it's about proactive planning. It's about proactive execution. It's about making sure that we resolve things before they become bigger problems. That limits downtime, and also making sure that preventative maintenance is done accordingly, again, with the goal of keeping that equipment running in tip-top shape. They're going to work with the broader organizations to make sure parts are in place when we need them. And when something does go wrong unexpectedly, make sure the team is coordinated so we can respond more quickly and get your equipment up and running again. And this is all done really through communication and the use of tools. You see an example here. It's nothing overly complicated, but what it does is it organizes information in a way that the team can use it together. We align the resources between all three parties working as part of that broader partnership to prioritize situations, to track what's going on, and align all the team members around the actions that need to be taken to yield better results. At the end of the day, it's about efficiency, it's about communication, and making sure that the organization can get the most out of the tools that they have on site. And this process is applied across all of the solutions that are part of the services bundle that we've put together. Whether it's in the space of operator-driven events, maintenance and repair, production, some of these things can be fairly sophisticated. There's a lot of information coming in There's feedback loops to take into account. And then when the actions are decided upon, there is a lot to coordinate. And the fleet manager is that secret sauce, the binding that holds the team together to keep us all moving in the same direction. And when done properly, will yield results like you see on the screen here. This is an example from a mine site where we're leveraging our production optimization service. And in doing so, you can see we drove what was about 90% of target payload at the start of our work together up to achieving 100% of the desired target payload across the fleet. And we've since maintained that. But it's not as simple as just raising the average. And you can see here the journey was over the course of a year. There's a lot of action that's required in order to achieve results like this. And our teams, along with your teams and our dealer partners, we will work to attack all the areas of opportunity to achieve results like this. This is the same site with a little bit different view. And if you take a look at the table on the left, you'd see that the distribution of payloads was fairly wide and definitely off of the desired 100% mean. And so our teams work together to attack the root causes and drive the customer's performance to something that was more akin to the desired state. And it wasn't just about raising the average, as I mentioned. It was about attacking the underloads, which are more costly to the site, and it increases that cost per ton, as well as attacking the overloads, which can lead to unsafe operations, as well as a potential for long-term downtime due to equipment failures. And diagnosing the root causes of these events can be pretty complicated. There's a mix of equipment, operation, and site elements that all need to be considered in order to start to move the average and squish and scoot this curve over to the desired state. And what are those actions? What does it take to do that? As I mentioned, it's a journey over time. It often starts with figuring out what's going on at the site, establishing baselines, especially in operations where we don't have any data that sort of characterizes what was going on when we began working together. Understanding what was going on, attacking that low-hanging fruit, and then continuing to dive deeper and deeper into the site's operations. In this case, we broke it down by crew. We started looking at individual operators, separating things into loading and hauling fleets, understanding what was going on at each route. And eventually, over the course of the year, we were able to achieve that rated payload goal that was so beneficial to the site. And that's a pretty big improvement to productivity and profitability for a site, especially a mine like this, which this site represented. But it's not just about achieving those results. That often there's excitement around that. It can be easier to do that. But once you get to that goal, you also have to sustain that performance. And the fleet manager will continue to look at the information that's coming in, understand the variables that are changing, think about attrition of operators, think about changes in management, perhaps opening up new pits, changes in operation. Those things constantly have to be reviewed and addressed, because if that's not done, gains that are made can fall off over time. And the fleet manager will work, of course, not just in the production space, but on any of the solution elements that we have as part of the overall partnership. This example here is one of operator-driven events. So looking at how the operators are using the equipment, trying to make sure it's done in a safe manner, while also, of course, achieving those productivity goals. The chart on the right, you can see over time, through working with the team members, providing the management team feedback on what the operators shouldn't have been doing and how they could take corrective actions to drive improved performance, but also looking at whether or not these things were caused by equipment issues, using the operators' feedback to address nuisances that they were experiencing coming out of the equipment, and working that process. We were able to drive down those operator-driven events over time. This is often a point that I see my customers celebrate with their staff, and could lead to secondary results like morale improvement, which sort of is this cycle of positivity that continues to drive positive results in other spaces. But it's not just about tracking. It's not just about measuring. It's also about goal setting. And our Job Site Solutions team has access to global information, performance of equipment like this around the world, through which we can help the local teams determine what are achievable goals. Where should they be setting their targets in the near term and the long term? What are the benchmarks of world-class operation? And how are they achieving results like that? We can bring this global information to bear to benefit your site and help you drive the results to become world-class. And note that it takes a lot of work to do this. The example here is from that site that I showed you before, where we drove down the operator-driven events, where we improved productivity. There's a lot of people and resources that are behind a solutions contract like this. This example is of the work that was done over the course of a year to deliver those benefits. You can see all the staff that's involved both on the dealer and the Caterpillar enterprise side that's working for customers like yourself to help deliver those better outcomes. Lots of communication, processes, and collaboration is important. These are sophisticated things that we're attempting to do together. And it takes a lot of coordination. And the fleet manager is really the person who is the conduit for that collaboration, making sure all of this work is getting done on behalf of the customer's outcomes. And we've spoken about communication. It's critical, setting up that communication plan, keeping it structured, keeping the teams aligned and moving together, making sure that the right things are prioritized that are going to drive the best results or reduce those pain points that that operations can often experience. And also working both at the site level as well as if a site is part of a broader organization, making sure that we're communicating results up to the corporate teams as well in a manner that they can understand that fits again with the business drivers that they have, the outcomes that they're looking for. And when that power of partnership works properly, when all of those forces are brought to bear on behalf of a single goal, you can see results like we have on this slide. Significant gains in the cost and finance space, excellent uptime, execution of maintenance and repair as it should be, and then that ultimately leads to uptime and productivity, all done in a safe manner for sites like yours. And just one other example here of a different site, same idea. It's all sort of coming together, right? The commercial organization asks the customer, what are your pain points? How can we help? How can we bring our teams together to help your operation? Understanding what's necessary and designing a solution around that, and then implementing that fleet manager and the processes that we have to execute. And when done right, you see results like you have on the right, the after, if you will, of the fleet, more efficient, cost savings, scheduled downtime instead of unplanned downtime, and then also, perhaps some other custom elements like sustainability things and goals to help drive improvement in custom spaces, increased mechanical availability, leading to better production and better business outcomes. And that's what it's all about. It's about our teams together being committed to the customer's success. We don't just develop a high performance plan for your site, we'll execute it jointly, right? The power of partnership. All parties will focus on your success, leveraging our respective capabilities to get the results that you're targeting. And that's why our JSS solution exists, is to bring those resources to bear to help you achieve those business outcomes that you're looking for. So that's the end of our material today. I want to thank you for your attendance and for listening to us. If you have any needs or there are things that you think we might be able to help you with, you can reach out to us at the JSS team. We'll have some contact information at the end of this session, or your local dealerships. We will work together to support your organizations. As Chrissy mentioned earlier, there is a survey that you have access to. Please take some time to fill that out. We live by our own credo, what gets measured gets managed, and we really appreciate your feedback so we can continue to improve and develop things to benefit your organizations. So with that, I want to turn it over to Chrissy for the Q&A session. Again, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeff and Chris. We love the opportunity to work with all of our internal team members and then get a chance to present and share teams just like JSS with all of you. So we are going to start our Q&A session. In the box that you see on your right, please, we've got some questions already coming in. Feel free to submit some more. There should also be a survey popping up for you. Once again, to use Chris's line, what gets measured gets managed, and we are eager for feedback. And there's an opportunity in there to also let us know if we can connect with you, working with our CAT dealer partners to discuss what's going on with your operation. So we'll start with some questions here. So one of the first ones, I think I will throw this to you, Jeff. What are the key characteristics you look for, JobSite Solutions and Caterpillar, working with our CAT dealers in potential solutions customers?
Sure, absolutely good question. So we actually have a list of 5 different criteria we look for in ideal solutions customers, and a couple of those are easily met in the mining space. The first being industry. Well, we can work in mining, we can work in any industry. Actually, we have contracts across all industries. The second is really fleet size and utilization. The customer needs to have a fleet that's typically more than one unit. We like 4 more units with higher utilization. Of course, that's very common in mining and something we can pretty much assume is going to be the case here. So it really comes down to the last 3 criteria, and that is we kind of look for customers that are willing to partner and have that culture. And willing to share that responsibility of risk with somebody else. So it's that cultural element that is probably the most important here. If you're open to looking at a different way of approaching your business, if you're open to partnering with somebody to drive improvement, that's probably the most important criteria we have. But the most important piece probably is having that engagement and commitment from your leadership as well at your customer site. So, making sure you have all the way up to maybe the site manager or even the corporate office have that engagement, the buy-in to maybe taking a different approach and improve the efficiency and production of your business. So, the last one is really just we look for customers that know their numbers, that understand their costs, and are willing to share those costs and help us look at that data to drive those improvements. So again, those last 3 are probably the most critical. But oftentimes in the mining space, I think we can check a lot of those boxes, and potentially any customer could be a good solutions customer.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, for that. So I've got another question. I'm going to throw this one to Chris. Thinking in terms of the fleet manager, a lot of times we hear groups like this at Caterpillar are just technology focused. Can you articulate a little bit more on how you'd respond to that from a JSS perspective?
Sure. I think the interesting thing about the fleet manager is they're a resource, right? They're a person whose entire purpose is dedicated to achieving the results around which we designed the solution. Technology is surely a piece of it, but it is just a means through which the fleet manager is gaining information or gaining data to then turn it into information. There's so much more that the fleet manager does that's related to communication, that's related to organizing the team, that's related to execution of all the elements that are part of the solution. So technology is important, information's important, but nothing gets done without the people. And really that's where the fleet manager shines, is organizing the people and driving the team in a singular direction.
Awesome, thanks. I'll stick with you, Chris, for this one. We have a question in general about where JSS can have contracts. So first of all, is JSS only in North America? And then piggybacking on top of that, are you aware if JSS does any contracts or can do contracts if we're available to mines in West Africa?
So JSS is not only in North America. It's where we cut our teeth for sure, but we have since expanded and have contracts all around the globe. Each country has its own unique challenges in the space of contract structures. And I can't speak specifically to the ability to operate in, was it West Africa, Chrissy? Is that right?
Yes, that was how the question came in.
But what I'd say is reach out to us, because we're constantly exploring and expanding how we can do business and support all of our customers globally. And if there is a need and a good opportunity, we're definitely willing to listen and to try to help. So please reach out to your local dealer, or you can reach out to us, and then we can get in contact with your local dealer and see if there's something that we can do.
Yes, thanks, Chris. As a reminder, we have that survey, and then on our last slide of our presentation, we'll put up here in a little bit, we do have Jeff's contact information available. So for those asking very specific contact and location questions, please don't hesitate to email Jeff, and we will make sure to connect you to the right people in our team. So another question, and I'm going to send this to you, Jeff. Does JSS only do contracts on Caterpillar equipment?
Good question. Yes. So, well, the majority of our contracts are certainly wrapped around CAT equipment. It is a potential that we can include non-CAT equipment into a JSS contract. You know, this process of using data, rigorous processes, and all those sort of things, those can apply to any equipment. So yes, it is certainly possible to consider that into a broader solution as well.
Perfect. I think, Jeff, I'm going to stick with you and ask another question about our customer base. You kind of already identified this, and so did Chris at the end of his portion. But how do you speak to JSS working across a customer spectrum? Do you find that our customers are only large, rather corporate conglomerate type customers, especially in the mining space?
Again, another good question. So, again, I mentioned in the slide earlier with the JSS overview, the broad set of customers we have. You saw the number of countries and dealerships and so on that have JSS contracts with them. And across those, that range of customers is certainly not just large corporate customers. We have a range of numerous contracts with single machines operating a site and finding value in the JSS approach. All the way to the other end of the spectrum, specifically in the mining space, we have contracts with junior miners that have, say, one or two mines, in their company's portfolio, and we're delivering significant value to those customers as well. So, while yes, we do have large corporate customers, and JSS can work well with them, it does not have to be that type of customer. It can certainly be any customer of any size that meets these other criteria I talked about earlier that could be a good solutions customer.
Perfect. Awesome. Chris, a question for you. Based on the fact that a lot of mining customers can start in the greenfield space, how does JSS potentially work in that arena, or how would we start conversations with dealers and customers?
Yeah. So all solutions start with that conversation, right? They start with understanding a need. Whether it be in the greenfield space or a well-established mine. And I think there are unique challenges that come with the greenfield space. And I know that both myself and Jeff have worked with our partners on customer opportunities with new mines like this. And I think what we begin with is bringing together the partners to talk about the challenges and the timelines and the various elements associated with starting up a new mining operation. Oftentimes, our structured finance group is a key element of those discussions, and then just going from there, right? So again, this idea of getting the right partners together, I think, is an important one. Understanding the unique challenges and starting with that conversation. So if you have an opportunity or something that you'd like to explore, please reach out to us. Start with Jeff or myself, and we'll make sure to pull together the right Caterpillar partners to help with the conversation.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Jeff, a question for you. How does JSS work with customers that might already have MineStar?
Good question. Yeah, so we've talked throughout this presentation, there's a theme of using data to make operations more efficient. So we have to get that data off the machines. We have to get that not only the health data due to that condition monitoring, but also the production data as well. If a customer does not have a technology solution in place, we can come in and help install that solution. It'd be a product called MineStar Edge. But if a customer already has full MineStar, the MineStar Fleet, if you will, or MineStar Health, that makes the solution that much easier to put in place because we already have that data flowing. We just have to then put our experts in place to analyze that data and turn that data into actionable insights to really drive those improvements. And you as a customer may find it difficult to get your arms around, how do I use all this data that's coming out of the system and turn it into information that I can use to change my operation. And that's where really, if you already have MineStar Fleet, we can come in and help you with that, partner with you, if you will, to help analyze that data and find those opportunities for improvement in your particular site.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. I think we've got time for a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap up here shortly. Chris, one of the questions that came in with regard to a fleet manager working with a fleet that is both new and old and outdated. I know we've discussed rebuilds and all the things JSS can help assess. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Sure. There's a few items there. But, I'll again start with the fact that whether it's new or used equipment, whether we're trying to keep new equipment working in tip-top shape or make sure that old equipment doesn't fall too far behind the curve in the maintenance space, the fleet manager is the coordinator of all the teams and support services that are necessary to have the whole fleet, mixed in terms of age as it may be, up and running as best as possible. I know at some of the sites I have where we have some older equipment, the fleet manager is simultaneously, coordinating the things that need to happen on the preventative maintenance side, as well as, let's say we've got some old equipment that's coming up for rebuild, coordinating with the teams to make sure that everybody knows when that equipment's going to be down, when the parts are going to be there, how long it's going to be down, setting expectations with all parties and aligning those resources to execute on behalf of the customer. At the end of the day, it's about making sure that that equipment is up and productive, whether it's new or in its second or third life. So be it any of those situations, the fleet manager can handle all of that and, again, will coordinate the teams on behalf of all parties.
So, Chrissy, if I can add to Chris's comments, I want to maybe spin that answer a little bit too, and talk about the scope of a solution for a customer as well. So, I want to make sure people understand that the solution doesn't have to be all or none, right? It doesn't have to be the entire fleet at your site. Maybe it makes sense to look at a portion of your fleet, or maybe you have a certain overburden removal project you're doing on the side for a few years to get to some additional ore down the road. And we can look at just subsets of a mining operation, and maybe the solution fits perfectly in just a portion of a customer's operation, rather than, again, being all or none as well. So I just want to make sure that's clear to everybody.
Perfect. And on that note, Jeff and Chris, I think that was a fabulous way to wrap us up. I will end here on our thank you slide. Once again, you can find more information available at cat.com/jobsitesolutions. If you're a dealer on the line, we do have our internal site for you as well that's on the screen. And please complete the survey. We would like to get feedback. We'd like to understand if you are wanting JSS and the CAT dealer to reach back out to you. And you can also contact Jeff. His email is up there on the screen right now. Thank you so much for calling in and listening to our presentation, Solutions Beyond the Iron, Fleet Management with Job Site Solutions. We appreciate all of your time. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Chris, for facilitating an excellent presentation and dialogue with our customers and dealers out there. And stay tuned for more mining webinars here in the coming weeks. Thank you all, and please continue to be safe and have a great day.